Alright guys, it's me James here with Anthony.
Hey, how's it going?
We're going to be doing a comparison video between the Strider SnG line and the ZT-0300 line. Right here we have the Strider SnG with the black coated blade, and I think it's a Lego model, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Lego model, which means it is one milled piece of G10 titanium, or piece of G10, I'm sorry, and the flame tie, which is really nice. I like that. And then on the other hand, we have the ZT-0300 Black Washed, which I got in the mail today. I think you heard about that in the Re-8 video. Super, super sweet knife. Used to have one of these before, and honestly, I'm not as excited about it the second time as I was the first time. I was kind of bummed out. Great knife, just I wasn't all that excited about it. We've got various other knives in the background. We'll talk about those later. But alright, so we're doing a comparison video between the Strider SnG and the ZT-0300 series. There's a lot of similarities between those knives, and there's a couple of differences, but they're very, very similar, especially for what you're getting for the money. I'll go over the specs. I have 3 sheets here. Strider SnG, the ZT-0300, and the just some similarities and differences. You can see those 3 sheets here. I'll be reading off of them. And Anthony will correct me when I go full retard. So, alright, SnG. Alright, we got the overall length is 8.2 inches. The blade length is 3.5 inches. The close length is 4.7 inches long. The blade thickness is 0.16 inches, which I find interesting because that's the exact same blade stock as the 0300 line. Handle thickness is 0.47. Weight is 4.45 ounces, which is a big deal. We'll talk about that in a bit. Sorry, I was off camera there for a second. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Weight is 4.45 ounces. Lock bar is titanium, scale is G10, and the blade is CPM S30V, which Anthony enlightened me today means that it's a powdered steel. Sorry, I thought that CPM and S30V were the same thing, but apparently they're different. Alright, so the ZT-0300 here is, the overall length is 8.625 inches. I'll set these next to each other. Is 8.625 inches. The blade length is 3.75. I was wanting to get cutting edge, and because I know there's quite a bit more cutting edge on the 300 than there is the Strider, but I couldn't find that for the ZT. I could find it for the Strider, so I just didn't put it in there. So blade length is 3.7 inches. The close length is 5 inches. The blade thickness is 0.16 inches, which is the same as on the Strider. I like it. The handle thickness is 0.63 inches. And it weighs 9 ounces, so it's about the same size knife, but it weighs several ounces more. Same thing, titanium lock bar, G10 scale here, and the blade steel is S30V. Some of the differences are, Anthony, chime in here just whenever. The pivot on the Strider, what do you call that pivot bolt? Is there a style of that?
Almost like a proprietary screw.
Okay.
It's like a custom screw from the factory.
Yeah. Like Microtech. They have their own 3-prong screws, which are a real pain in the ass. ZT's is the bolt. I don't know exactly what size that is.
I think it's a 1/2 inch hex nut.
Ah, that makes sense. 1/2 inch. And the ZT-0300 here is assisted. It's a good assisted knife. I really don't care too much for assisted knives, but ZT really did this well. Strider's is manual. Y'all should probably know that. One thing that I never knew and never saw anywhere on the internet is that the Strider's pivot bolt is free-floating. I never knew that. I don't know. I just never heard that before. So any of you guys that never heard that, the pivot bolt will actually move, while it still stays super, 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 no wiggle, super, super strong. I never knew that. All right. The pocket clip on the Strider is one position. You don't really have much options when you go there. Actually, it's 2 options, on or off. With the ZT, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Left and right, tip up and tip down carry, which that's pretty good. I like my options, but generally all of my knives tend to be right-handed tip up carry. I like to pull it out of the pocket there and just be able to pop it like that. Alright, so besides the weight, with the ZT weighing 9 ounces here, and the Strider weighing 4.45 ounces. The Strider is definitely the lighter carry, but they also have the Hinderer style lock bar stabilizer. You can kind of see that there and there. Both have this Hinderer lock bar stabilizer. The similarities are they are both S30V S30V blades. The Strider is CPM S30V, whereas the ZT is just S30V. They both have the Hinder lock bar stabilizer. They're both G10. They're both titanium. They both use, one interesting thing to look at is they both use the stop pins for, both use the handle studs for stop pins. Granted, Strider uses the almost spidey hole-like opening system, and the stop pins are mainly for, or the thumb studs are mainly for use as a stop pin. Sorry, I'm getting stuttered up there. One thing you got to look at is the ZT's is a lot bigger. You can see that the stop pin, or the the thumb stud is a lot bigger than the Striders, and they both seat a little bit differently. You can see it's contoured a little bit there on the Strider, but on the ZT here, let me get that to focus. On the ZT, on the ZT you can really see that it's just a massive indentation there. The way I figure it is the more handle material that contacts the thumb stud there, also the stop pin, the more solid that would be. I believe that is correct. I don't know why it wouldn't be. So there's a little bit more surface area touching the ZT here than there is the Strider. I don't think that you'd ever really have to worry about that. Some of the differences are, as I've gone over, the ZT is spring assisted and the Strider is manual. Personally, I prefer the manual. I'm a real believer in Striders now. After I played with one, I freaking love them. The pivot bolt are different. If you ask me, they are both outstanding designs. If you ever broke a pivot bolt on a ZT or on a Strider, you're really stupid. Whatever you did it wrong. Also, we got a Satu here. My brother's custom laser engraved Satu. You want to talk about a big pivot bolt? There's another really big one. Jacob has the full tie version. My brother has the titanium, or has the G10 version. I like it, but we're not talking about that right now. Another difference is the Strider here. The scale is also the backspacer. It's the Lego model, so the scale and the backspacer are the same material. It's all just G10. With the Strider, or with the ZT here, you got a titanium backspacer, from what I understand, or a G10 backspacer with a titanium. What's the word? I'm sorry. I'm going for liner. There you go. Sorry. It's got a titanium liner in there. I don't know. People argue all the time which one's stronger. I don't really know. If you're gonna break it, you run over with a tank and you'll probably break it. Either one of them. But both are very strong designs. The backspacer is G10 here, just like the scale, although it is two separate pieces, unlike the Strider. The blade grind on the ZT is a hollow grind here, whereas on the Strider it is a flat grind. The flat grind is really good for slicing, and the hollow grind, I'd use the hell out of it, and I could also see it being really good for slicing, because when you look at it here, it's about the same amount of material that's on the same grind there.
Well,
so
I'd say with that added swedge on top, it's almost like a modified clip point. I don't know exactly, but that's what it seems like. It's
yeah. The lines are all kind of blurry there. All the makers have different words for them and everything, but it can all kind of be the same thing. The G10 texturing is very different. It's 3D machined on the on both the scale and the titanium side of the 0300 series. Really nice. I like it. It's pretty grippy. I really like this knife a lot. On the Strider, it's more like Emerson-like, where it's more rough. I think they call that weaved. Isn't that what it's called?
I don't know.
It's standard G10.
It looks almost like my Carta, the design that they have on it.
Yeah. Here, I'll get a close-up of this. Really good, whatever it is. It's just nice. I mean, everything about this dang knife is nice. But, so there's that. The carry options are different. And when it comes right down to it, the price point. The price point is a huge deal. I have here that the MSRP on Blade HQ, the MSRP for the 0300 series is $272. We all know that you can get them for a lot cheaper than that. And the MSRP on Blade HQ, I'm just going off Blade HQ's pricing here, is $400 for the Strider. Now, we also know you can get those much cheaper, secondhand, or just aftermarket, really. I've seen these go for as little as, I think the lowest one I've ever seen was $130, and the lowest for Strider SnG. The plain version with the stonewash blade and the stonewash lock bar was, I've seen them go for $275, right in that ballpark. If I had $275, you bet that I would nail one of those. But there's just the general specs there. I mean, when you look at it, you're getting two very, very, very similar knives for a little over $100 difference. They're both, I don't want to go into splitting hairs and sound like a Strider fanboy or a ZT fanboy, because there's a lot of both of them out there, but they're both very, very, very solid designs. You'd have a hell of a time breaking either one of them. The Strider is very, very smooth, whereas the ZT, in case I didn't mention, does not have a D-dent. That is a real pain in the butt. That bugs me. I really wish it had a D-dent, because I'm not a big fan of assisted knives. But you're getting both titanium lock bars. Very, very strong design. I wish I had the steel insert in my 0300. I don't, but I can live without it. They're just both very well built, overbuilt knives. Both very hard use military situation knives, and I'd trust either one of them with my life. What do you think, Anthony?
I'm about where you are on it.
Yeah, they're both really, really great knives, and I'm sure I'll upload. This will be the first part. The second part will have usage and disassembly, so that you can see both of them. I'll have those up either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure, but we'll get those done. I really appreciate you watching it. This is just one thing that's really bugged me before. You see the ZTs compared to Striders every once in a while on the internet, but I've never really seen it done the way I wanted to see it done. These two knives are awesome. I mean, when it comes right down to it, they're just freaking great knives. So it's good to get a review out there and have both of them in my hands. I wish that you could hold both of them and make your own decision. But personally, for me, for over $100 price difference, I'd probably go with the ZT. That's just me. But if I had a ton of money laying around, you bet that I would definitely go for the Strider. But I'm 17 years old and broke. So we'll probably get on that usage video right now. I really appreciate you watching it. Thanks for the feedback. Give us a follow. All right, see you later, guys.